Toby Martin from Youth Group. Good to have you here at noise11.com to talk about new music, and it's been a long time since you've even talked about new music, Toby.
It's been 6 years since Youth Group put out its last album, but I've put out lots of records between those times, just not under the name Youth Group, and so have the rest of the band. So yeah, I guess these days, I mean, Youth Group, like 20 years ago in the mid 2000s, Youth Group was like our the main thing in our lives, certainly in our musical lives. And these days it's like it's just one, I think, of many things, and like and that's actually kind of a good thing. It makes me think that when we get together and play, the four of us, and write and record and play shows, it's special because it's like it's really unlike anything else we do. I mean, that's you have to ask yourself, I think, when you've been, when you're a band and been playing music for a while, it's like, why are you still going and taking up space and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think for us, there is something very magical that happens with the four of us that I think I appreciate now because of the fact that I am involved in other musical things now as well. So I really appreciate Youth Group for what it is. Yep.
So when you go 6 years in between albums, though, for a band, I mean, were you officially broken up, officially in hiatus?
No, it's just normal. It's just how long it takes. It's like, I mean, I don't know where the time goes. It's just, yeah. I mean, well, so the last record came out in 2019. We then had quite a lot of touring plans, which all got scuppered because of COVID. By the time we sort of emerged from that, it was 2022, and we started recording the record in 2022, and because Danny, our drummer, lives in America, so we just sort of record and piece it together when he's back here. So I think he came in 2022, and I think he came again the following year, and then we sort of mixed it, and then yeah, just takes that long, I guess. There's no one, it's not like we're on the same kind of conveyor belt of releasing a record every couple of years and touring, and it's just different now. It's more like project based, we're like, okay, the record, it's a project, and then we'll tour it. That's another sort of project. So yeah, it's just kind of different.
Well, I guess 6 years is a big deal. So you chose to come back with a title, Big Whoop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's our Australian sense of humour coming out there. Yep.
So why the tongue-in-cheek title?
I think we've always had tongue-in-cheek titles. I mean, the band's name, Youth Group, is like a tongue-in-cheek title itself. Like, we're obviously not a Christian youth group. So there's already like a kind of an irony with the band name. And our album names have often been, we find them amusing. So I mean, we don't necessarily like our music isn't really that funny, although there is humor in it. But I think humor is sort of important for us as a band, and sometimes that does come out in the album title. So yeah, we just thought that was a funny name. It's a funny Australian expression that yeah kind of worked well, and I knew it would work well with the artwork. The artists who do our artwork are called Biddy and Sunny, and they've done all our stuff, and I just knew that that's sort of that kind of really popping kind of artwork would work well with that title.
There's a lot of emotional texture in this album, the dance-inspired Don't Turn Your Back on the Moon, the deeply personal Saturday Dad. How'd you balance the expectations of content for this record?
Don't Turn Your Back on the Moon. So the first part of that song is about Grant McLennan from the Go-Betweens. And it started like I had writer's block, and just it was really hard to get going with songwriting. And then there was a full moon, and I was just thinking, man, Grant would write something really good about this, it wouldn't be corny. And then I was thinking that sort of turned into the song lyric, and then it started this stream of, that song is a very long song, and it sort of started this stream of consciousness kind of thinking. So it kind of really came out of nowhere, that song, and then it turned into, I mean, for me that was a very direct form of lyric writing. It was about very real things. I usually in the past have have sort of obscured things with like I guess poetry and description. But for Don't Turn Your Back on the Moon, it was just very much like telling exactly what the story was in my head. Like, and not, I mean, people, even people's actual names, like Grant and Cameron from the band, and Adele and Glenn are all they're all real people who are name checked. So it was a different way of writing for me, which was kind of exciting. And Saturday Dad was kind of like sort of a me taking the piss out of dads who don't do a lot of the care for the kids, but then sort of rock up on Saturdays to to coach the sports team or whatever, or go to the parent teacher interviews and put their hands up. So that was just kind of my little kind of narky character portrait, I suppose.
Was that based on a real person?
Saturday Dad's not really. It's just based on more of a observation of many people, and yeah.
Mm. Name checking is quite constant through the record, particularly on the track The Joke, where we have Paul Keating and Sarah Silverman, quite an unusual pairing.
Well, and there's a song called Kim Deal. Um, yeah, I know. It's just I like lyrics that place things in real situations. I I mean writing lyrics is a constant flipping between directness and poet and sort of more poetic imagery. But I do like lyrics that are just plain and in everyday language and have references that probably a lot of people understand. So yeah, I probably am attracted to writing that. I think music itself is so emotional. Uh, like I feel like with lyrics they can be quite plain and everyday references to things because the music does so much of the emotional work, I think.
Name checking, you said Kim Deal just a moment ago. What prompted you to go back to your past and find Kim Deal and bring her into a song in 2025?
I mean, all these things are never decisions. I mean, decision making is not fun for an artist. I think it's much more fun just to feel like you're not making decisions and it happening organically. So, um, I guess I was thinking about. I mean, I the Breeders were a band I really loved. I still do, but I mean, they really meant a lot to me when I was in high school, and she's a musical idol of mine. I guess I was thinking about that, but I was just thinking about the time when I first heard the Breeders, which was like at high school, and I mean it's in the song, but like someone played me on their Walkman like Cannonball, and I just remember hearing like the feedback, the guitar noise, the feedback at the beginning, and the kind of the interesting guitar stuff, and I'd never really heard anything like that. I mean, my musical diet up to that point was much more, I guess, mainstream, I suppose. So that was kind of like, and from there it was like sort of Sonic Youth and Pavement and other bands like that. So there was, I was just thinking about that moment of hearing that song, and then I started. I mean, this is like songwriting for me. It's just like one thing spurs another thought, and then I was just thinking about yeah, moving to Canberra and growing up there and going to school and meeting people, and that Canberra is a place where like it always feels like everything happens elsewhere, like life and culture, and you sort of always think about how you're going to get out of Canberra. So I was just thinking about all those things. Yeah.
You've described this album as a bit of a mixtape, and I guess, in what we've just discussed here, the
Yeah.
diversity that we've been talking about here is very much part of that. Was the diversity something that you had right from the very start, or did this album evolve in the studio as you started recording?
The process of making a record is its character slowly gets revealed over time. So you sort of the time of writing, rehearsing, then starting to record it, the character slowly reveals itself. And for us, the character revealed itself as being quite like for us quite a bit more dancey in its musical directions. For a few reasons, really. I mean, I co-wrote some of the songs with an electronic dance music producer called Ming, who lives in New York. Because Danny was only in town for a small amount of time, we did a lot of stuff to clicks and on the grid. And we were just sort of into synthesizers. We were kind of into drum loops. We were quite into the idea of Manchester in the late 80s and early 90s. And I don't know, just all those things just kind of came together to produce something that for us was a bit more dance orientated.
Mm.
Yeah, not all the tracks are. I mean, some of them are much more like absolute classic youth group sort of guitar bandy stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, so right now, 2025, it's all about youth group, but you have been very honest about the fact that this is just one of your projects now. When does it go back to the other projects?
so next year is the 20th anniversary of Forever Young. So we'll be doing like middle of next year. We'll actually be doing some more shows and some more releases that are sort of around that anniversary. So that's probably actually the next thing probably is youth group. Um, I've got a solo record which I've demoed, which I'll love to record next year as well, but that'll probably take me 6 years to put out as well. So don't, no, it won't be that soon. But yeah, that are two next things in my mind. Yep.
When you create a song like Forever Young that does become a signature song, does that become a burden, or is that an easy part of the show that you don't have to think about? That's always going to be in there.
I guess my relationship with that song has changed a lot over time. When we first released it and we first started playing it and it first went to number one, it was like it was so frustrating that that song was getting such a bigger reaction than our other songs, and consequently, I started to get annoyed by it. Um, but now I'm much more proud of it as an arrangement because it's a cover. You always have a funny relationship with songs that are covers, but I feel very proud of it now as a kind of an arrangement and as a sort of a an emblem of what we do, the four of us musically, and the way the parts work together. So yeah, I love it now. Yeah, I really like playing it. I like what it's how it's reached people, and I like what it does. So yeah, it's changed.
How's it sit in a set list these days? Does it have to be the last song?
No, we played on the weekend. It was like towards the end, but wasn't very last. Yeah, it's we used to play it first to get it out of the way, which wasn't very popular. So we've gone through many iterations of it. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna do something cool with next year. We're gonna do some, yeah. It'll be revealed in due course. But yeah, we're excited to kind of celebrate it next year properly.
Because there's a lot of new technologies that weren't available 20 years. We saw what the Beatles did when they released Now and Then a couple of years ago. Uh, is that a
Yeah.
possibility, that you go in and basically we get a new technology cast over the old song?
Well, I can't say too much. I've been told like don't give the surprise away. So yeah, I can't say too much, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
Okay, to be continued. We look forward to that.
exactly.
All
Yes.
right, Toby, it's been good to catch up with you here at Noise 11 and a brand new big whoop from Youth Group for the
Thanks,
fans out
Paul.
there.
Thank you very much for interviewing me and having us on the site.